The so-called new racism or cultural racism treats the other culture as a threat that might contaminate the dominant culture and its internal coherence. Such a view is clearly based on the assumption that certain groups are the genuine carriers of the national culture and the exclusive heirs of their histories, while others are potential slayers of its purity. Modern racism does not operate with the concept of race, but with the concept of the incompatibility of cultures, protection of original cultural values, clash of civilizations, etc. And it considers cultural diversity within the state nothing more than a trait. Back in 1954, an American psychologist, author of the theory of personality traits, Dr. Gordon Allport, wrote that cultural racism arises when one group declares its claim to determine cultural values for the whole society. Such an approach implies not only ethnocentrism, which means making the culture of heritage of the main group the central value of this group, but also imposing this culture on the other groups.
Secondly, about the manifestation of cultural racism among politics, for example, Margaret Thatcher. Modern racism is a threat primarily in countries where classical racism is no longer politically correct and outlawed. The question is, can we definitely state that there are European countries which openly profess modern racism? No, but such trends are making themselves more evident. For example, the British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, for instance, was considered a cultural racist for comments in which she expressed concern about Britain becoming swamped by people with a different culture. More and more strict bans on wearing religious clothes in public places in many European countries. The famous example is France, that passed the amendments that would make it illegal for Muslim girls under the age of 18 to wear hijabs anywhere in public. Similarly, after the 11th of September, unprovoked attacks against Muslim Americans increased dramatically. Law-abiding Muslims were being held accountable for the actions of terrorists they did not know and whose extremist beliefs they did not share. Their accomplishments and failure are attributes to their membership in an ethnic, not to their personal talents or failures. When a white American man commits a mass shooting, many politicians are quick to bring up potential mental health issues. Yet, attacks against Asian Americans escalated in the past year, after Trump derisively labeled COVID-19 the China virus, pinning blame for the virus on a specific ethnic group. This is a true example where the classical racism based on biological features emerges with the cultural ethnic racism. I will leave you now with these testimonies from people who experienced racism.
Salut. Alors, depuis que je suis arrivée au j'ai subi plusieurs actes racistes. Voici une histoire vraie sur moi. Un soir, je sortais des cours, je rentrais à la maison et je m'étais retrouvée face à un groupe d'adolescents lycéens. Ils s'étaient mis à me lancer des pierres, à me traiter d'esclave, à me traiter de singe, à me traiter de rien du tout. C'était vraiment horrible. C'était horrible, c'était insupportable, mais ça fait tellement mal. Et le pire, c'est qu'il y avait des adultes là qui ne pipaient mot, qui ne disaient rien, qui regardaient leurs enfants m'insulter, me lancer des pieds, me traiter de tous les noms horribles possibles. Ça fait très mal parce que je suis un être humain.
راسيزم بور موا واحد فاغ اوسيون اللي ما تقدرش تبريسيزي شنو هو مي جافي فيكي واحد لي سيركونستانس اللي بور موا سيتي دو راسيزم فاش كنت صغير في لي زاني ديال البريمير كوليج جافي ان امي اللي كان المهم سيتي ان امي اللي هو بروش بالنسبه ليا مي كنا كندابزو بزاف فيتو وبعض المرات كيبقى يقول لي الكحل حيت كندابزو فيتو بويس كان عندي واحد لا كولور اللي سمراء وهذا يعني كيقول لي الكحليت وبقات فيا. وكانت واحد لا سيركونستانس اخرى فاش كنت كنقرا في هاد لي زاني يونيفرسيتير ديالي. كنت كنديسكوتي مع ان بروف وكنا دخلنا في نقاش واحد اللقطه وسولني اسكو تو دو ماروك. بور موا هو يقدر يكون ما قصدهاش يكون راسيزم، مي بور موا بان لي سان راسيزم. ولا تخوازيام صافي واحد 5 جور دابا كنت دخلت في بون نقاش عاوتاني مع نوتر بروف و il était en train d'expliquer يعني des choses et tout وقال لي ايه mon ami et il s'adressait à moi و c'était شي حاجه اللي un peu bizarre بالنسبه لي. علاش تقول لي هكاك؟ بون الراسيزم راه صعيب بزاف.
As these testimonies confirm, cultural racism can manifest in different ways. Now the time to talk about the elephant in the room. Why cultural racism exists in our society. Even major efforts of activists, governments, and the worldwide community in general. We will try to answer this question by different theories, like the first theory, the Gordon L. Port's theory of the group norms explains that people develop prejudices against others who don't fit into the mainstream culture known as the out group, as a price to not belonging to their group as the in group.
The second theory, which is the social learning theory, that says attitudes and beliefs are a result of socializing and learning. So young children learn racist behaviors from their parents, peers, and others.
The third theory, the psychological theories of prejudice, explain it by the fact that insecure people may find it comforting to feel another group is inferior.
Our main goal for making these videos is to warn you, the viewer, as a global citizen of a new form of discrimination that can happen to any of us, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Moroccan, Arab or Amazigh, African, Chinese or Indian, immigrant or local, rich or poor. Due to the huge diversity of the cultures in the world, we will all be exposed to racism based only on our culture. So the journey begins with you and me. The easiest place to start with personal actions. We are all called to act even when we are uncertain, afraid, not fully informed and uncomfortable. And the journey for racism to anti-racism has to happen on many levels: individual, institutional, community, organization, etc. The key here is taking personal actions.